I kind of just started talking about Planned Parenthood, and as I stated before, they are the largest abortion providers in the United States, and just the statistics are just mind-boggling as far as what they actually do and how much of effect they really have on abortion. Um, the thing that I would state as far as Planned Parenthood is there seems to be a misconception about their motives and exactly what they're trying to accomplish. Now, one of the common misconceptions is okay, well, Planned Parenthood, they receive government funding, but they don't receive the government funding to do abortions. So, in essence, it's not really taxpayers' money that's paying for these abortions. And I think that that's another thing that's extremely flawed in this country because it's not necessarily the money is being directly put into Planned Parenthood. It's the fact that the money is being used to keep Planned Parenthood in a position that they can provide abortions. And there's so many things that people don't really understand about Planned Parenthood, and those are some of the things that I'm going to get into. But just to kind of start out here, um, first of all, if you're going to Planned Parenthood and you're a young woman or even an older woman and you don't really have an idea of what your options are and the decisions that you can make as far as what to do with possibly having a child, then going to Planned Parenthood is it's like going to a car dealership and looking for advice about cars. Now, you go and you talk to a car dealer and a car salesman, and you tell the car salesman that you're looking for a car and you're just not really sure what decision to make. Is the car dealer going to give you all the information you need to know to decide if you getting a car is a good idea or not? Or is the car dealer going to try to tell you that you should get the car? Because at the end of the day, the car dealer, the car salesman, benefits from you buying that car. The car salesman is the person that benefits the most from you buying that car. So, in essence, why would you go to a car dealership and expect to get the information necessary to make a decision? No, when you decide that you want to go buy a car, you're going to go to people who don't have a a part in benefiting from this transaction. Somebody like a family member, a friend, someone of that nature that has an unbiased opinion that doesn't necessarily benefit. Because the moment you put someone that's biased involved in it, they're going to convince you based off of how they benefit. That's why you always have to be careful about who you get information from. Because the moment you get information from people who seem to have your best interests at heart, you never know. They might sit here and they may look at it how they may benefit them. And I know that you all probably have people that have been around you that the only time that they seem to support something is when it benefits them. And that's the way you have to look at it when you're talking about abortion. You don't go to Planned Parenthood expecting to get unbiased information about abortion. It just doesn't make sense. And that's where we're going in this country. We're sitting here, we're sending the for the most part a lot of poor, uneducated women who do not understand exactly what abortion is all about, and they're being manipulated and deceived into believing that getting an abortion is the right thing, and it's wrong. It's completely flawed as to where this country is going and how to handle that decision. And so, one of the things that I did is I did some research and I looked on to Planned Parenthood's website. And it's interesting because there's a lot of things that's on their website that really, really is disturbing. But one of the things that they stated on their website that really, 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 really made me scratch my head is a statement that they made about how they felt about basically clinics. Now, clinics, of course, are a little bit different than Planned Parenthood. We're talking about like your neighborhood clinic. We're talking about clinics that maybe specialize in pregnancy. Um, this is what they're saying. Fake clinics run by people who are anti-abortion. And when I read that, I was just kind of sitting here like, are all clinics anti-abortion? And for me, I just kind of sit here and I just kind of wonder. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that notion that they believe that all clinics are anti-abortion. I did some more research and I looked up some clinics and I found several clinics within the Washington D.C. area where their goal isn't necessarily to prevent abortion, but to keep women informed of the decisions that they need to make. And that seems to be what's missing here with this process is that there are places like Planned Parenthood that take away that information that is necessary to make the right decision. And you have these entities that are really manipulating women that are, like I said, without the knowledge that's necessary to make an informed decision, and really guilting them into making a decision of going and getting an abortion. Now, if it is a naive woman out there that goes on Planned Parenthood website and they hear all these wonderful things about Planned Parenthood, and they go in there and they see that these clinics are just here and they're anti-abortion. They're not really trying to look out for your best interest. Well, it's hypocritical. It's completely hypocritical because they're the ones that are sitting here and suppressing information. It's not necessarily the clinics. Then there may be some clinics that may be anti-abortion, but it may be for a good reason. It may be for a good reason because of the information that they have. And so what I'm ultimately trying to say is there is a plan that's in place with Planned Parenthood to deceive women, to make them think that getting an abortion is the right thing to do, and it's the only thing that they should do. And they lie to women. They tell women that, hey, you just have a blob inside you. And if you don't believe me, go look up some videos. There's plenty of examples of people who used to work for Planned Parenthood that would say, look, I was trained, I was told that I had to tell the women that they had a blob. I could not refer to what was inside their stomach as a baby. I was not allowed to describe it as a living being. And for that is just complete misconception and misinterpretation of what is actually going on. And so the suppression of information leads to manipulation. And that's what Planned Parenthood is all about. They're about suppressing information. And so, with that said, if you have an entity that's doing these things, then of course it wouldn't benefit us as a country to continue to support this. But in order for them to exist, they need government funding. The government funding, again, people will say, well, it's not used in the process of abortion. But it's like this. If I am someone that has a convenience store and I sold drugs out of the back of the convenience store, the people that patronize that convenience store and they buy, the stuff that's actually inside the store, they are indirectly supporting that convenience store and they're allowing me to have a place to sell the drugs out of the back of the convenience store. Now you think about that. It's called enablement. That's what it's called. When it's not necessarily that you are helping someone to do these things. You're not forcing someone to do these things, but you're giving them a means to do it. It's just like someone in your family that may be a drunkard, someone that drinks all the time, and they need to go to the store to get their fix, their alcohol. You may drive them to the store, but you might not buy the alcohol. You are still enabling them because you're giving them a means to be able to get the alcohol. You're not necessarily buying the alcohol, but you're giving them a means to do it. And that's what we're doing with Planned Parenthood. We're not necessarily funding the abortion, but we're giving them means to do it because of their existence. And that's something that we have to get past in this country. We have to understand that as long as we continue to give them funding, then we are allowing them to do the things that they're doing. This misconception and the things they're doing. There's a reason why they're the number one abortion clinics in the country, and it's not just because they're a national brand. If you look at the numbers, they're staggering. They're staggering. They are literally branded on abortion, and there's a reason why they're branded on abortion because that is how they justify government funding. That's how they get their money. That's how they can go to the government and say, "Hey, we have X number of people that come to us and they use our services. Therefore, we are asking that you please provide us this amount of money." That is the reason.